the sun. Brace yourself. Brace yourself.
Noah Hart would lead the field down to the green flag here at the Ireland Rallycross course, and it looks like we are getting ready to go. Green flag is out over the bump. Here we go. Bad start for Jake Baskinger. Cody Lamas got a pretty good start from third as some sand's getting kicked up. I think those flaps underneath the car that is keeping the visibility actually decent. They are doing a good job. Here they go as Noah Hart, and you will see some people getting airborne. Looks like we've got one of the DNCs, that's Fabrosis, off onto the sand in the back. Very interesting race here. Oh, maybe one of the Walkers had an issue along with maybe the, nope, so far so good. Yeah, you can see how kind of, when the sand kicks up, or the dirt kicks up, you can barely see what's in front of you. As you can see from Marion Shawrot's view, we're going to go in the cockpit. She has the helmet cam this year, or this week. Here they go down the hill through. Oh yeah, that's a big jump. Thankfully, everyone's learning to keep their cars in the air under control. Kind of some mixed up field. We see some of these drivers who aren't used to dirt are in the back, and some of the drivers who are dirt racers like Noah Hart, Jake Baskinger, Cody Lamas, DJ Curtis, and Randy Carpenter, who I think all have experience on some sort of dirt, are doing quite well. James Shelley's a real surprise out of this group in the Cathnex. That's the end of lap 1. Chalk that up to Noah Hart. And it looks like James Shelley is going for a decent position here on Silver Fox. And it looks like Dutta's also trying to make a move as well back there. So this could be a very interesting race up. The Silver Fox took out the barrel over there, and it looks like cars are kind of flying all over the place on some of these jumps. It looks like Cavagnaro's kind of going a bit wide there to the corner as they go up and over the hillside. It looks like one of the Thunders are off in the back. Jake Baskinger is going for the lead on Noah Hart here. The two Georgia natives are battling with each other. Not going to get it there, but very difficult to keep the car under control on this dirt surface, especially with little practice, because practice got rained out, and if you know how dirt turns in rain, it turns into mud. So all new dirt had to be brought in for qualifying, which is quite nice. So this track is handling quite nicely today. The Viesololas made this race, and they're actually up to pace with the Mentervinis, shockingly enough. Mentervini was not very happy with racing on dirt. However, Bisalola took it as an advantage that if it turns out badly for some, it could eventually help them out. However, everyone's minding their P's and Q's today, keeping their cars under control. Good showing so far. The two Red Bulls are going to swap spots. It looks like Randy Carpenter is making the move on DJ Curtis, and it looks like DJ Curtis will go off and bunch up the field. Shelley kind of hit the brakes there, which caused Dutta to react and hit the brakes, which kind of made a mini pack out of this. The Honda Accord of Dutta is really closing it up. Looks like Curtis is going to go wide, and Dutta might try and take the position. Nope, not going to get it, but it's quite interesting to see how they're kind of handling this dirt surface. On board with James Silverfox as they kind of come back around to the main straightaways coming up here in Ireland. Very cool track. The Irish folk here that have been promoting this race have been very supportive of the ARCSOA Elite Series, and it's great to see them actually. It's great to see these European countries. At Silverstone, we really didn't see that kind of support. It almost seemed kind of snobby when we were there. We had a good race at Silverstone, but this track is just a lot of fun. It looks like somebody's pitting. One of the CBMs, that would be Lamas, because we're on board with Silverfox. Lamas has to make an unscheduled pit stop. And as we go to Cody Lamas, yes, there he is. Pit road here is a paved pit road because this track is partially also a paved racetrack. You can, sometimes some touring car leagues come in here and use this as a paved track, and Lamas is getting some brand new dirt-based tires on that car. And, well, no one really knows why, because tire wear really hasn't been an issue. Noah Hart is pulling away on Jake Baskinger. Noah Hart is having a fantastic race. Good to see this. Oh no, he hit the bump wrong, and off he goes up the embankment. And I think that's out of the race for him as he rolls the car on his lid. We'll have to go on board with him. On board with him now. He looks like he hits this bump wrong, and it screws him up for the later part of for the next corner coming up. Gets airborne, loses control. There's another bump, gets airborne, can't control it, loses it, goes up the embankment, and rolls the car, and yeah, this camera's going bye-bye. Yep, that's it for that camera. We're never going to get that one repaired. The Honda Accord Zeos cars of Ian Dutta and Kenny Myatt look like to be battling for position, as are the Red Bulls. The Red Bull Lexuses, and this is pretty close, actually, between these two team cars, as Jake Baskinger has blasted off, because he was keeping up with Noah Hart, and with Hart out of the race. This is going to be a very interesting situation to see what's going to happen as they run up the hill. They're actually back down the hill, actually, now it seems like. Here they go through some of these corner complexes and back onto the front stretch. Wow, both the Red Bulls got some pretty nice air there going over those bumps. Zachary Fitzwater would get some dirt clogged in his cooling system and cause his car to blow up. Or not blow up, but have overheating issues. So he had to park the car on the track and get a tow back. Which is a tough break because the Visalolas actually have been one of the more reliable cars on the grid. Ian Dutta would pull away on his teammate, and Myatt's really struggling. He hasn't really had a whole lot of experience on dirt. And it looks like, yeah, he definitely slid there. There goes Shelley on by. And it looks like Fabros is going to make a move as well on him. Yeah, he's definitely struggling. The 9 is trying to be strong here. And it's a very difficult track if you're a rookie to dirt. He ran in dirt tracks in Season 1 and 2, and then when they went to the Ohio track, the one season was also a dirt track. And this track is a bit evil on newcomers, it looks like. Ian Dutta is battling actually with DJ Curtis now. As Randy Carpenter pulls away in second place. Looks like actually Dutta's going to get third here. Good to see as they wind their way through the down to the front stretch. I've always wanted to go on board when they go over a jump. Yep, That looks fun. Here comes the 9 making a move on Fabrosis now. Fabrosis took that bump kind of overly aggressive, as here comes the 9 handling the bump with distinction, and oh, maybe a little door contact there, as it looks like Dutta and Curtis are going alongside of each other further up the track. And this is just, I guess, how aggressive you want to make it. Oh boy. That's actually a close battle up there. We're going to go look at the rear view, as it looks like Fabrosis lost a ton of time up there. Here we go again. Here's Dutta and Curtis having a nice spirited battle. As they go down the hill now, over some more bumps. This track is quite fun to drive, it seems like. One of the more fun circuits that we've been to yet this season. Never really thought that we'd be on a dirt road course. However, we're going rallying effectively. But here we go, through the corners. It all depends. This track depends on how you handle the bumps. And Jake Baskinger in the lead is doing that quite nicely. Jake Baskinger, I believe, has the fastest lap. No, actually, Carpenter's closing in on him. Carpenter looks like he has the fastest lap so far. No one else is in the 129s. Believe it or not, though, the Isololas aren't... Oh, what happened to Max? This will be interesting. Here's Randy Carpenter now really closing in on Jake Baskinger in the Ferrari. This is the first time we've actually seen the Ferrari do well, and this is kind of a surprise because, well, Ferraris weren't expected to do hardly anything, but this is kind of a driver's track. I mean, you've got to be good on dirt surfaces to actually do something here. And I believe Jake Baskinger is one of the best in the Elite Series on dirt. Looks like Carpenter is going to get alongside of him now, as they go up the hill. Carpenter is starting to pull away as they go by the lake. And back onto the front stretch. Yes, we are on the front stretch, over the bumps. And see, all the momentum that Carpenter had there kind of went away, but it seems like Baskinger is playing it a little bit more safe than Carpenter is. And it looks like we've got Ian Dutta actually closing in second place, since Baskinger and Carpenter have been battling. And Dutta's really closing in now on the leaders, so this should be interesting, as Ian Dutta is setting his fastest lap of the race on lap 9, which kind of proves that, well, tire wear really isn't that much of an issue here. I think the one car that did pit, which was Cody Lamas, had a tire going down. So it all depends on how you handle this track, and this track is kind of difficult to get a grasp on because it's consistently changing where, like, the good dirt is and whatnot. So this has actually been a very interesting race. Nico Hall, while his teammate's in second place, Nico Hall would have to pit. Hall really doesn't have a whole lot of dirt experience, and I believe he is trying new tires, but I don't think tires are going to be really the way to go here, is trying new tires out. Tire wear, like I said, hasn't been a big issue in qualifying. We haven't really gotten a big chance to see it in practice because the track was a big, giant mud pit. Ian Dutta is now making a move on Jake Baskinger for second place. And it looks like Dutta clears him. Dutta is chasing now down Randy Carpenter for... oh, it looks like Baskinger got bogged down in the sand that's on the outside of the track. He's going to lose third. And Dutta now has to chase down Randy Carpenter for the lead. As we've said plenty of times, where Ian Dutta has still never won a race, wouldn't it be weird to see him win it at a dirt road course in the middle of Ireland for his first race? Sure be an interesting story. Proving that this is a driver's track, we have Zachary Fitzwater, who is a lap down. However, he is actually comparable speed-wise to some of the slower cars in the field, which is proving that the Visalolas, at least here, aren't exactly that bad. Fitzwater is having some difficulties. Louvier is actually keeping up somewhat. Well, Louvier is slower than Fitzwater, but we also have Noah Hart, who is back on the track after flipping the car. God knows how he did that. Looks like here's the close battle. Man, Kenny Myatt's been battling with the DNCs all race, it seems like. Or at least for the last 5 laps, is now Alex Allen's trying to find some way around him. Both these drivers are very, very good competitors on road courses, but I don't believe have that much experience on dirt. At least Myatt, I know, doesn't, outside of the Elite Series. And Vincent Allen, Alex Allen, I'm not sure about. However, I don't think he has a lot of experience out here, as he's going to blast by the 9. You can kind of see it on the, well, we're going to go to the left camera. Now you see, oh boy, Allen's off. Oh, he overcooked that. Alex Allen looks like he's done for a bit. Maybe they can fix his car like Hart's, but not at this rate. Here we go. We're looking at Alex Allen right here. Goes into the corner, overcooks it, does the same thing Noah Hart does, and decides to flip his car on the embankment. That corner and that bump have been a big issue all race, and you've got to be really careful with the way you handle it. Ian Dutta's, well, actually, technically, Randy Carpenter set a faster lap time that last time by, but Ian Dutta is keeping up with him, which is impressive, to be honest with you. You can kind of see that this is a very big driver's circuit, and you're not going to get away with just having a good car, which is kind of one of those things that we've been looking for, is seeing who's the best driver in this field. And right now, Alex Allen, who doesn't look very good, but even though he is the reigning champion, and we're seeing that the DNC cars, maybe their cars just are really powerful, and that's why they're winning so much, and maybe it's not driver skill. Baskinger is trying to get fourth back from it. Charlie Fabrosis in the 2. Baskinger has, like I said, the most experience on the dirt, but I didn't think that Ferrari would be very strong here on the dirt. But really, the Ferrari hasn't been as strong as we thought it would be. But wait till we get to an oval. Wait till we get to Lautzes. I'm guessing that you'll see them up there. And there goes Fabrosis into a nice little pull away there, and starting to see that this track is starting to claim some of these drivers fatigue-wise, as some in-car radios we're not going to share with you due to language purposes are some of the drivers, namely Kenny Myatt, are none too happy with the amount of fight they have to do with the cars around this track. A walk here of Marion Shawrot would bring it down pit road, maybe to try something out with tires, but they're trying to see if tire wear is going to be an issue, as tire wear really, we couldn't really gauge it. And a lot of unknowns going in this, as they are filling it up with gas, it looks like, as well. So pit strategy, once again, will be, like in the last 2 races, will be probably a premium here, but it's more driver control when it comes to this track. Also looks like Louvier is also pitting in the Visa Lola. 24th position with virtually every car running. With the exception of Allen, who is right now not doing well. 24th isn't bad for the Visa Lola. Randy Carpenter is starting to pull away from Ian Dutta. I know these rear view cams aren't really all that informative when you've got dust kicking up all behind you and you can't really see what's going on. Maybe in midair you can, but there you can see Ian Dutta. There's the Visa Lola coming out of the pits. There goes Dutta. Looks like the Visa Lola may be a problem for Fabrosis in the 2. As Fabrosis is coming around here. Over the bump. You can see, though, that there is some engine differential between the DNCs and the Visa Lolas, as you can see how much air comparison Fabrosis is getting compared to the Visa Lola. And you can see how quickly, kind of, how power means everything here. As now we're going to see how the DNC is going to deal with. Wow, nice. Almost slide to save the car there by Fabrosis, as Louvier is not being the nicest of back. Well, he tried. I mean, it's kind of difficult to get out of the way of a lap car on a dirt track. However, he did do his best, I'll give him credit. Way up in the distance, you may be able to see Randy Carpenter over the crest of the hill there. Ian Dutta really is kind of struggling to keep up with him. At this stage, maybe fuel strategy may become a premium issue, and that could get the Zeos in front or near the Red Bull. But at this stage, Randy Carpenter is kind of taking off. few more cars are pitting. This is Joshua Michaels, and it looks like Nick Mace are bringing it down pit road. Fuel strategy, I'm guessing. They're definitely going to make it on fuel at this stage, but it all depends on kind of, now, driver ability. We said it all day, that this race is coming down to driver skill and who is the best driver. And we're trying to find Michaels. There's Michaels. And Michaels does a pretty quick pit stop to see how he comes out in comparison to Mace. Mace comes out, slows Michaels up a bit. But driver ability is definitely going to be key here. Baskinger, Shelley, and Myatt are right now battling for position. Shelley's trying to find every way he can around Baskinger, who has fallen back like a rock since the start. Even though Baskinger has one of the fastest laps on the track right now, or set the fastest lap, I believe, on lap 1, his fastest lap. And here comes Shelley trying to find, like I said, any way possible around Baskinger's Ferrari. Baskinger, I know, is a good dirt racer, but I don't know if that Ferrari is necessarily the fastest. But wait till it gets to an oval. That Ferrari is going to be fast. Randy Carpenter and Ian Dutta both pit here as Fibrosis, Galligan, Garjay, Hart, Lewis, and Duncan, and pretty much everybody's pitting. Now, this could be interesting to see how Dutta does. Dutta gets out. Carpenter is out, but Dutta, maybe not much of a gain at all, and maybe he lost time. Yeah, I might be able to say good win Carpenter if he keeps this up. But, I wouldn't say that just yet. I was going to say Fitzwater was in third for a second, but I'm not that stupid. Lamas is on a radically different pit strategy. Galligan's made a big improvement up to 5th place from starting way in the back, so Galligan's getting a hang of this dirt racing rather quickly. Baskinger or Shelley actually got by Baskinger. Looks like Nico Hall's trying to make a move on the 9 of Myatt. The 4 is looking, I'll say, looking pretty hard. He also has one of the helmet cams to go on board him. You can see it's very difficult to control your car when you're in a big cloud of sand and dust. And you're going over a jump in midair. There isn't really much you can do about weight control in midair. This isn't some video game where you can magically control your car in midair. As it looks like the two Kathnax cars are battling for position. Looks like Shelley probably got by Galligan right there. This is actually a pretty close battle. I don't think the Kathnax team wants to see Shelley and Galligan wreck each other, and it looks like now you're getting Baskinger trying closing in on Galligan. Galligan slowed up quite a bit for that bump, but it helps him off it, where Baskinger was gaining. Myatt's also there, maybe going to try and make a move on Baskinger. This is also the battle for the lower points, as Nico Hall is holding 10th right now. If this keeps up, it could be Alex Garjay's race. And it looks like there goes Baskinger. Oh, contact with Galligan. What happened to Galligan? Galligan brings it back. Oh, there's Durbin over. Durbin in the back's upside down. We'll have to take a look and see what happened to him. This is the battle for 11th, and Ike Durbin does the same thing, hits the gas trying to get by him and flips the car. And really brutal track this has been to people who have been very unsuspecting of it. The battle for third's heating up between Fabrosis and Curtis. Fabrosis is trying to hold the spot away from DJ Curtis, making it, Curtis wants to make it 2 Red Bulls on the podium if something doesn't happen to Randy Carpenter. Whoa, Fabrosis really getting aggressive there, entering the kink. Curtis hits the barrel that they just recently placed back. And Curtis loses a lot of time in the sand. And Ian Dutta is really slowing down compared to Randy Carpenter, who is kind of escaping him right now at a 131, nearly quite a few seconds in front of him. James Shelley would be slow out of the kink, and Baskinger would try and make a move. Baskinger would make it and looks down the inside, entering the slower next corner. And Shelley kind of gets off into the sand a bit as it becomes a drag race down the S-bend section as Baskinger takes the position away. So Jake Baskinger is proving that he is the best on dirt track around here. There is talks about another dirt track maybe being added to the schedule eventually as well, so this should be an interesting outcome to see. All Randy Carpenter is doing is right now pulling away from Ian Dutta in second, by nearly a second a lap, actually. Yeah, almost by a full second a lap, so Randy Carpenter is doing a fantastic job here on this dirt surface, and it's great to see that. Good run by Randy Carpenter. On board with Nico Hall. Nico Hall's trying to find any way to get by Myatt and for 6th place, and Hall right now looks to the outside there, actually outside of the next couple of corners. Myatt would pull a bit there and would get the position back, defend his position successfully. Now, it looks like there's a battle up there between Baskinger and Shelley, I believe. I think Galligan's falling back again. Jake Baskinger is closing back in on James Shelley. This battle's been ongoing since pretty much the start of the race. Ever since Baskinger fell back this far, it's been a nearly consistent battle between Baskinger and Shelley. And here we go through some of these tighter corners here as they go up this kind of mountainside here at the dirt track here, bouncing around. And it looks like Shelley is pulling back away. Like I say, you can kind of get into a rhythm and take off here. The big loser so far in this race has been James Silverfox, who had to pit for a tire going down. You don't know what kind of stuff's in that dirt down there, so you've got to have a pretty durable tire here. And both Bridgestone, Michelin, and Cooper have brought good tires here. Very interesting racing here. And James Silverfox, well, Michelin's been kind of suffering here. Michelin's been suffering all year. Michelin hasn't seen a win yet. Neither has Cooper. I think Bridgestone's been the only one that's won. Because I think both DNCs are Bridgestone. No, Maces are Michelin tires. Cooper only runs a lot of the backmarker teams Cooper has, and the Zeos team is also Cooper tires. So that's interesting. As Bridgestone for the Ferraris, Cooper for Zeos, Cathnex is on Michelin's, Red Bull's on Bridgestones. Yeah, there's a full list, I can tell you. Somehow Fabrosis got by Dutta. We'll have to take a look at that. 1 lap ago, Ian Dutta would screw up the kink, and Fabrosis had a nice run and would take the spot back away from the 2-car of Charlie Fabrosis, or of Ian Dutta from the 9, or 10 rather. Man, that line just got all screwed up. Randy Carpenter, as you can see, is starting to catch some of the lap traffic here, and this is pretty much the only competition he has, is himself in lap traffic, as Fabrosis runs second. Fabrosis is probably going to take the point lead in this race, getting what looks like 18 points, which would definitely put him into the point lead. As Carpenter runs back down the hill, going into a couple of these final couple of corners. That is one of the Visas in front of him. Some more pit stops have been taking place with Cody Lamas, Noah Hart, and it looked like, yeah, Noah Hart and Cody Lamas brought it down pit road. They're on a 2-stop strategy for fuel because of incidents and tire blowing. CVM, if I were them, I would not have wanted those Michelin tires. Michelin hasn't performed well in the testing, and believe it or not, are having issues with high-speed testing, which could be an issue when we get to Euro Speedway. They didn't really perform well at Montana. Carpenter would be trying to work his way past Chris Louvier in the 27 Visa Lola. This is becoming very interesting now, as Louvier is kind of holding his own. This is the one shot of spotlight he can get for that car. And it looks like Carpenter isn't really trying very hard because he knows he's faster, even at this rate, than Charlie Fabrosis. Well, actually, he's not faster. Fabrosis closed in by a tenth, but that's not nearly enough to catch him. And finally, the Visa Lola lets him by. No harm, no foul. Hey, look, the CBMs are once again battling close to each other. Too bad it's nowhere near the points. It's for 23rd position. Charlie Fabrosis would go on a run trying to lap Tamara DeLeese. That just shows how the Visa Lolas have been. The Visa Lolas are actually in front of the Mentervini, or the one is at least. Is in front of the Mentervini of DeLeese. It looks like now you're starting to... Fabrosis is struggling with him. That could help Dutta get second away. And now you're starting to see them battle pretty hard alongside, and DeLeese gets forced off the track into the sand pit. Yeah, you don't want to go off in the sand here. That sand really slows you down in comparison to the dirt. As they run up the hill, back down it. Now it looks like Dutta's having the issue with the Mentervini, so this is not becoming very easy for him. Now Fabrosis has to deal with the 27 of Louvier now, and we'll see how easy he gets by him. Pretty easy. Or, not pretty easy, but he's still there. Nope. Pretty easy. And that's going to help out because Fabrosis wasn't all that slow around that time, and Carpenter did lose a second on that last one, so who knows, maybe just a little bit of a close-in, but I don't think it's nearly enough. It's only a couple of corners to go. Randy Carpenter has done a fantastic job here on this dirt road course in Ireland. He comes around the final corner. Randy Carpenter is going to effectively walk away with this win. Very nice and easy. He comes across and wins the round in Ireland, one of the most anticipated races of the season. Second place is Charlie Fabrosis, and a fantastic showing for him. And third place is Ian Dutta, and back here we've got Chris Louvier holding up James Shelley, who must have, never got a chance to get by him, and then Kenny Myatt would come across the line behind James Shelley. The battle for the final point spot came down between Vincent Allen, and a photo finish between Vincent Allen and Sean Galligan. One of them got 9th, the other got 10th. I believe Galligan got 10th, so Galligan keeps his points-paying streak still alive. He has scored a point in every single race this season so far. Garjay and Will Lewis, William Duncan, and both the Walkiers, who struggled mightily here. I believe both the Walkiers. No, Vincent Allen, I take that back, did get his points, but Marian Charat didn't. And then Polson or Noah Hart sure as heck didn't. So, actually, that's Jacob Hart. Jacob Hart didn't get points either. Just kind of surprised because he is a dirt racer.